Good evening to you. It is, man, that's good. Tuesday, November 4th at 8:18 p.m. I just sipped on an old friend. I don't know. That didn't come out right. One of my old favorite weeded bourbons that I don't ever get to drink. Just pulled out of the back of my cabinet and surprised me how delicious it was. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're enjoying something. An ice cold water would be good. A hot chocolate, a warm cider in early November is always good too. Regardless of what you're sipping on or snacking on, you're probably watching Purdue close out Evansville. They got about a minute left as they're up by 31 points. Aaron Fine's bringing the ball up the court. I thought I'd jump in early because why not? Not much of a challenge for Purdue. The first, 7 minutes? 7 to 10 minutes. Purdue struggled a little bit. Had to deal with some adversity right away as TKR. He hurt his hip a little bit in practice. So Purdue started someone that I think a lot of Boilermakers didn't expect. I have been here all along. I've been driving the damn Jack Benter bandwagon for over a year. If you've been here, you know that. And some of his family and I have talked about this. I'm a big Jack Benter guy, and we got to see a little of that on display. Talk about that here in a minute. 18 seconds left. It's 82 to 51. I don't think Purdue will take a shot. I think that'll be the end of the game. The final score will be 82 to 51 as Fine dribbles out. And Evansville, the Purple Aces. Are they Purple Aces or are they just the Aces? I don't know what they changed a lot. They used to wear sleeves. If you're not old enough to remember that, I'll talk about that here in a second. But after Purdue kind of got themselves together and Fletch Loyer started flexing his muscle. Everybody talks about how big he is. I'm looking on the screen. I think that is some gaslighting. But dude can bomb. And Fletch Loyer did it tonight. Braden Smith played a quiet game and still managed to get 11 assists. Let me talk about, before I get too deep, about my friends. When you've just watched Purdue cruise to an easy victory over Evansville or a team, another team, name a team, they're gonna play again Friday. So you get two games in about 3 days. When you've done that, if you've watched Purdue win a game, what do? You take that 5 to 7 minute brisk walk towards the fire station. When you get there, you turn left and you'll see the warm glowing lights inside and the blue signage. You go inside there and it's like you've been there all your life. It's like sitting around the hearth, reading a book, maybe smoking a pipe, maybe drinking an iced coffee, not an iced coffee. It's like that, but it's different because at the same time, there's meats and cheeses, some of the finest meats and cheeses in all the land, mixed drinks, tap beers on draft. Gosh, where's that? AJ's. EatAJ's.com. Burgers, beef, beer, Adam's Wonderful Hugs. It doesn't get any better than that. AJ's by the fire station. And also, when you need a sweatshirt, a t-shirt, a hat, like I said, check out the all blacked out version of the Purdue hat. Pretty slick if you're into that sort of thing. They've got some really, really cool retro jerseys right now. Go over to homefieldapparel.com. Grab something for yourself and for your family. Christmas shopping is not too far away. And if you want to not, bust your budget, what you do is you start now. Spread it out. If you haven't already started, maybe you've already started. All right, homefieldapparel.com. The game was one that I don't think is going to keep your attention if you're not just a sicko. Evansville is a team that they have some good size. That's the thing. I read a little bit of the the press info coming in. They have good size and they looked the part, no doubt about it. They've got a couple guys that transferred in from bigger programs who are coming off injuries. So smartly, their coach picked them up. But what we saw tonight is really just a better, deeper team. Play kind of, I wouldn't say they wore them down or anything. Purdue didn't rebound great. In fact, when Daniel Jacobson was in, very interesting to see. When Jacobson was in, Purdue did not clean the defensive glass at all. Without TKR in there, Jacobson really, it's weird to me, a guy that tall doesn't just crash the glass, and he doesn't. Clough, though, was assertive tonight. That was nice to see for the first time in a long time. When I say a long time, that's asinine. The first time, really, we've seen him play with a lot of gumption because we've seen two pre-con games, But tonight, he was bodying up on offense, really assertive, and then defensively, he was good on the glass. Showed his potential, I think, more than anything. Um, it still feels to me. Tell me if I'm wrong here, but watching this team now, if you've watched them 2 or 3 times, it just seems like a team that hasn't fully gelled. It's like um, something in the oven, needs a couple more minutes. It looks pretty good, but it needs to be brown because you like those cookies crispy, that sort of thing. So, but the funny thing about this team so far to me is that outside of what Loyer did tonight, we really haven't seen a lot from TKR or Smith, right? And maybe you think that Smith is very reserved in his way about the games. I don't know if you noticed that too. Not very fired up, and maybe he's waiting to I don't know, use some of that later. I don't know. I don't know what he's thinking. I Sadly, the box score I'm going to use, they hardly ever post the minutes quickly, so I'm not going to be able to see that. But it felt like Smith spent a ton of time on the bench. Got to see Omer Meyer in fits and spells. Got to see some unusual lineups. Um, and the big thing you got to see is Fletch Loyer just got hot and really, I think he took it from what was it, about 11-point game to a 20-point game in just a matter of a few possessions as the hoops started looking really big to him, and he put them away. Let's look at the box score together. Why don't we? Let me see if I can get the minutes to come up. I bet they won't come up yet. They haven't come up yet. I'm really curious to see that. Hopefully they come up soon. I'd like to see how many minutes Smith played because I think this is a little bit of what some Purdue fans wanted to see, where you don't have to play Smith all the time. Granted, it's super early, and obviously the competition doesn't warrant running the Smith Haggart, but still at the same time, he didn't play a lot of minutes, I don't think. Let me look at this. Okay, so Loyer leads all scorers with 30 points, and they showed a graphic. He's on the screen right now on Big Ten Network. But he is really good in opening games. I think his previous career high on an opening game was 25. Today he gets 30. And if you look at the box score, he's the only guy that really stands out. Daniel Jacobson at 11 points. It was pretty easy for Jacobson. Smith fed him, I think, a couple where he was coming down the lane, and all you have to do is throw it near the trajectory he's coming in, and his reach and his ability to get above the rim are so noteworthy. He was just putting down easy stuff. Let's see, what did he? Oh shoot, he was 4 for 10. So not. Purdue didn't shoot the ball exceptionally well at all. Let's see, as a team, they shot 47%. From three, they were 44%. So the funny thing is, Purdue really didn't play that great, but Loyer played really great. And Murphy, I think I saw him, he hit one. He was 1 for 3. But Jack Benner had a good couple of minutes, and that was really, really fun to see. Benner doesn't look out of place at all. I think he looks like a guy that has huge upside, like I've always thought. It's a very different look, very different team with him at the 4, of course. I don't think you're going to see it too much, but I think Painter also is not going to rush TKR back this game or next game. According to the the Boiler Ball pregame show, they had something on YouTube, which was fun to watch, where you had Blackman, Riddell, and Foreman talking about the team. They gave me the pointer on that about TKR probably not playing and being a game time decision. Another guy that was a game time decision that he was in his uniform was Antoine West. He did not play. I think it's still the rule is, and Painter talked about this. He addressed this at his presser, his weekly presser. But Antoine West has not made a decision on his red shirt yet. But he was in uniform today. The funny thing, towards the end of the game, he didn't have warm-ups on or anything, but he didn't get in for a minute. I think as soon as you play 1 minute, I think you burn the shirt. And then you'd have to commission the NCAA if something comes up where it's weird within a couple of games. But I think he burned the shirt right away. But he did not play, did not get in the game. CJ Cox played really quietly. Let's see. Yeah, he had a pair of assists. But I asked myself, man, why isn't Cox playing? And I was like, okay, he's played tonight. As I watched the game with one eye on an errand, and on another on our Boilermakers. Smith, like I said, quietly gets 11 assists. That's noteworthy. Like I said, Jacobson with 11 points. Omer Meyer off the bench, 7 points on 3 of 7 shooting, and he looked better than he had in the previous the exhibitions. So maybe he's starting to figure out a thing or two. And he's gonna do what he did tonight, where he spells Smith and makes it really difficult on defenses. That was something that was really good to see. Let's see, anybody. Yeah, this is a lot different than the last exhibition. Remember, last exhibition, you had both Jacobson and Clough in serious foul trouble, right? Both of them had 4 fouls. Tonight, I think they both have 1 foul. The only people with 2 fouls were Benter and Meyer, and not much to write home about, really, right? I mean, let's see if there's anything else here. Loyer shot free throws well too, 7 for 8. So 8 for 11 from deep, 7 for 8 from the free throw line. Smith, like I said, was 11 assists and darn nabbit, 6 points. 6 points on 3 of 9 shooting. So he was not looking for a shot at all. So I'm going to talk to you guys a little bit about what you guys saw. Chris Harder is the first one here. He says howdy. All right, Chris. I hope your campaign to get a big arena gets built. I hope it happens. I don't know if it's going to happen, but I do think that with you behind the stick, maybe some good things will happen. Adam P., good evening. Kevin in Albuquerque, evening to you as well. Chris Harder says, already have the Buffalo Trace poured in my glass. Nice. Is there a particular Buffalo Trace or just kind of a run-of-the-mill Buffalo Trace? I'm drinking Eagle Rare. And that's why I was like, I don't think I've drank any out of this bottle I think I bought the bottle back in May or June, and I think I've had 1 or 2 pours with a couple friends, and that's still delicious stuff. Let's see. Nita B in verse says, first beat-out post-game of the regular season. This fella is glad we're back. Thanks for saying that, Andrew. Appreciate it. And I'm way out of rhythm, as you can already tell. I didn't have I don't know if it's because I didn't feel like there's much to talk to, but I'm like, man, I don't feel like I've got my flow at all. So maybe I'm a little bit like Braden Smith. Just what I do is so much more important than Braden, as we all know. I mean, you guys can talk about that. Boilers 012 tuned in, says, tuned in at, I just sipped an old friend. Gonna be that kind of night. Yeah, it was awkward. My apologies. Like I said, not in mid-season form at all. Not at all, but doing my bestest. Need to be in verse says, biggest thing I wanted from this game was for Oscar to get plenty of reps and rebounds and boost confidence early in the season. And let me check that specific stat. Clough had 10 boards, so I don't know why I didn't read that again. Very even defense and offense, 5 each. But that's good. That was, like I said, seeing him play with a little bit more urgency, I think is really good. It's more what I expected from him. So maybe with the brighter lights on, he was ready to go. Indian Colorado says, good evening. Ted Berkey says, ugly first 10 minutes, good middle 20, cruise control in the final 10. Very good. That's the whole post game right there. Ted just nailed it. You really don't need to say anything else here. Oliver McLeod says, Aaron Fine, my box score king. I love Aaron Fine. The funny thing is he's very, very poised. This is the thing that's amazing about Purdue. Aaron Fine, if you don't know about him, was a baller. I think he was out of Noblesville. Dude can play. and Purdue gets to have him there as just a guy that really gets his ass kicked a lot in practice, if we're being real honest. It's an amazing embarrassment of riches Purdue has with a guy like Fine coming in garbage time. He is such a good basketball player. So IC says, hey, B-Dowd, so happy basketball's back. Let's something go. Boiler up. Word. I'm glad basketball's back as well. I can tell you, talking about football, and you probably detected this a little bit from me during the handsome hour. I'm not at the apathy phase yet. I'm pretty upset, pretty unhappy with what I see in football. And the boys, Anish and Jay, both talked about the moral, what do we call it? The moral playoff, the moral bowl playoff, and Purdue is well on their way to that. But I'm sick of moral victories. So it's nice to see Purdue cruise in basketball. Quite a contrast, of course. Nate Dolan says, is TKR going to be okay? From every thing that I heard, yeah, he's going to be fine. He just was a little gimpy, and there's no need to rush him back. I don't know if he fell on his hip or if he took a knee to his hip. I really don't know. Um, let's see. I think I don't think it's serious though, based on what I'm hearing. It's still very early, but he was kind of high fiving guys in warm ups. And jogging around a little bit and talking to people, but he has a little bit of a hitch in his giddy up right now. Pat Gottschall says, Loyer with a 30 burger, he was feeling it tonight. Yeah, he was. And it's good that one of those guys can be dialed in because, like I said, Smith, his body language was just kind of like just business, and I don't know if he's trying something on differently, but I like it when Smith is revved up a lot more. I'm a spaz too, so. Jeff Nestor says, Loyer, wow, really enjoyed watching Benner. That kid is a baller. DJ needs to go into angry mode and become a beast under the basket. No doubt about it. Good take, Jeff. Oliver McLeod says, real sports app shows minutes. Okay. Yeah, that's a great app, too. And I don't have it loaded. But, yeah, that's a really good app. Let me see if these clowns have this done yet. Nope, still no minutes. Nice. Thanks, guys. Awesome. Motor City Boiler says Loyer wanted to silence the critics. Yeah, he did, and he's been the guy that nobody talks about in the offseason. So he's got a healthy confidence about him. I'm sure he's sick of hearing so much about his teammates. I know he loves those guys, but he deserves more run than he gets in the media. Yeah. Let's see. Brandon Alexander says, got to work on those boards, but still solid performance. Purdue out rebounded Evansville overall. Wow, they didn't. 40-40. So yes. And the drop off was noteworthy, I thought, when Clough was not in the game. And the defensive boards it was tough to watch at times, right? Evansville was missing a lot of shots and Purdue was not ending their possession. It's exactly what we wanted to see changed, or maybe one of the 2 or 3 things we wanted to see change in this offseason, and there's no proof of a change just yet. Hopefully we see that switch go on soon. The Noodle says, Jeff, I was about to ask the same question. Let's see. Motor City Boiler says Sam King redshirting according to radio guys. That's really interesting, right? Because Sam King, what's he, a junior, and he's walked on. I think that's right. I think it's his 3rd year walking on, and he's another one of those walk-ons that's really a hell of a baller. But that's an interesting thing. I wonder if it's more of a kind of a tie-in with the academics, where if he redshirts, he's able to get another degree. I think he's a pretty sharp guy, from everything I understand. Let's see. Marshall Briggs says, "Evening, Dowd. How are you? Slow start, but the boys look sharp." Said on Twitter, but the team just makes me smile. Yeah, it feels good to watch a team that's this good, and they were very businesslike, but just they didn't get challenged. They just didn't get challenged tonight. So Pat Gottschall says Jeff Nestor, Gillis has a season record with 9. This goes up here. I'm gonna let that hit sit. Oh, I see what it is. Individual record for threes by Gillis was 8, and so yeah, that was the Michigan State game, if I remember correctly. But that's a big performance by Fletch, no doubt about it. Let's see. Marsh Briggs says, nice seeing how Payne is utilizing Omer and Braden together on the court. They complement each other well as expected. It's still clunky, though, isn't it? I mean, they do complement each other, but it's still a little clunky. And, yeah, I think they're figuring things out. Painter was really, again, like he was in the exhibitions, really he's experimenting with the chemistry of these teams, the guys, the lineups on the floor, no doubt about it. And he's always done a little bit about that, but I think he's talked about it, how difficult it is to have 11 or 12 guys. He says it's easy to have 7 or 8, and it's harder for him to manage, and it is. If any of you guys have ever coached, you know that, but this is a really weird amount of talent Purdue and Painter specifically has to manage. So Chris Harder says this is just standard, but I have a few others on the shelves from them. What is this? What am I talking about? I don't know what's happening here. Uh, I'm going to go down. Ripset says, good to see Benner getting some extra run tonight. Daryl Brace says, Boiler through and through, but seeing my hometown Aces playing yanks my heartstrings. Yeah, Daryl, you probably know what I was going to talk. I was going to reference this. If you're old enough to remember this, Evansville used to wear short sleeve jerseys every game as an homage to, I think, if I remember correctly, I think it was a train accident in the early 1900s when I think most of the team was killed, if not the entire team. So they wore sleeved basketball uniforms, I think, into the 90s. And they also, I believe, their colors were purple and yellow back then. Maybe Daryl, you can tell me I'm right or wrong, but I always thought it was kind of a cool tradition. Every now and then you'd see, like back in the early 2000s, Adidas messed around with teams wearing short sleeve uniforms, jerseys, and they looked really dumb because they were that really tight jersey. But Evansville's were like, they weren't loose and ridiculous, but I think they were wearing they wore sleeves every game back when they wore gray uniforms too. Little Evansville history and trivia for you. Clay Samsel says, first time catching alive. That's awesome. Thanks for being here, Clay. Appreciate it. Good to see you. Pat Gottschall has the stat of the day. Stat of the day. Purdue has now tied Michigan State for the number of games played as AP number one, 23 games each. That surprised me. So I would bet you're talking about number one games played all time in the Big Ten. Big Ten teams. It's got to be it, right? That's got to be it. Can't be all time any program. Can't be. So give me a little clarification there if you could. Yeah, Adam P says he thinks it's a plane crash, not a train wreck at Evansville that they were paying respects to. Need Being Verse says Gillis' record was against Penn State. God, boy, my brain's bad if that's the case. Is that was a Sunday afternoon game? Am I thinking the same one? I think that's it. So you could be right, and it's very possible that I'm wrong because I'm wrong a lot. Yeah, plane crash. DC-3 plane crash. 2 players not on the plane were killed in an auto. Oh my gosh. That's the most ridiculous thing. So Daryl, who's a Evansville native, schools me on this. This is incredible. Makes this so a DC-3 plane, which is that tells you it's a long time ago, kills the majority of Evansville's team. 2 players were not on that plane, and then they were killed in a car wreck a week later. So the entire Evansville team was killed in a matter of a week to 10 days. Unbelievable. That is crazy. Man. I know it's a long time ago, and I knew this story, but that's wild. Okay, Pat Goschel says all-time games played as number one ranked team, Michigan State and Purdue, both with 23. I think that's what he said. Don't remember. Yeah, they've tied Michigan State. So with the next game, Purdue will become the all-time leader at games played with a number one ranking. That is wild. The thing that's so wild about that, and Hummel talked about this, how momentous it felt when Purdue got to number one. It was kind of a weird thing on 2 ways if you're a Purdue fan or if you're not. I think many college basketball fans said, I can't believe Purdue hadn't been ranked number one. That was the team that had Ivy and Williams and Edey, but they were number one, what was that, 2020? 2022? 2021, one of those two. Sorry. Without my stats, without my stat books in front of me, I'm worthless. But it's a long time ago. I think it was when Edey was a freshman and Edey and Trey Williams were splitting time. Regardless, it felt like it was never going to happen where Purdue was going to be number one, and they break through, and now it's old hat. Like I keep saying about this program, they're missing one thing. They're missing one thing that elite programs have. Just one. We can talk about how likely it is for a team that's number one to win a national championship. I think we talked about it a little bit last night on the Handsome Hour, but it's tough. It's really tough. A lot of things can happen. So, all right, Pat Gottschall says next game will be the 25th, the all-time list. We have a ways to go to get to the top. I was surprised MSU was so far down the list. Marshall Briggs says, really enjoyed the commentary team. Oh, you liked Hummel and you like the play-by-play team on Big Ten Network. It's funny. One of my friends said they sounded awful. I didn't think they sounded awful. I thought they sounded loose, like they were doing a very, very good job. And Hummel always has interesting insights, but he was just hanging out tonight, so that was cool. I agree. He said it gave him handsome hour vibes. That's pretty cool. And anytime you have people that kind of enjoy what they're doing and they get along with the person they're talking to, you're going to have a decent time listening to them, I think, especially if they know anything about basketball. So yeah, I thought they did great. And in Colorado says it was the 2022 Ivy team that lost to Ron freaking Harper Jr. Yep. And thank you. Yeah, that game was tough. Those late December, early January games, the out of rhythm Big Ten games have been really tough for Purdue the last couple of years since that turned on, since they got to the lofty lofts, the lofty heights of being number one in America. So Yo says that's when First looked his best his freshman year. First looked really good his freshman year. I agree. I think part of that though, remember he would come in and he had a role to kind of just ignite and do things a little bit differently. He hit threes in the corner, if I remember correctly, a lot that freshman year. So yeah. I don't know if I'll agree that that was the best of First, but he was, I mean, as a freshman, a lot of reason to like him. A lot of reason to like him, period. So he's a guy that I hope to. I don't think I've ever talked to Caleb First. I've talked to a lot of the players just in passing. Been lucky enough just to be out on campus and walked around and always talk to people if I see them. So, but I don't think I've ever talked to Caleb First. And I think he'd probably be one of the most interesting people to talk to because of his level-headedness in spite of the fact he was on one of the best basketball programs. You know, we talked about this during the Handsome Hour. So the Noodle says Myers still seems to be trying to find his place on the court. And I agree. I agree with that completely. So, all right, 27 minutes for a post game. I think it's a little long. I'm going to try to trim that out because it's a long season, boys and girls. And but good to talk to everybody. I think I will be sharper. I can promise you I'm going to get better. Just like Omer Meyer is going to get better this season. I will get better, and hope to see you here soon. During all the post games, we've got a couple to go this season. Purdue is now officially 1-0. That one counted. God bless you. Have a good night. Hammer down.